Hello, so I am Sarah. I am a life coach for busy women that need to simplify their schedules so that they can live more fully and purposefully and have more peace and live without regrets. So, on that note, I'm also a mom of two, life coach, entrepreneur, and very busy. And so having a reliable car is a huge deal to me on all aspects of life. And I think not only me, but others like me, right? And the worst thing, the worst time suck, money suck, all of the things is having a car that is not reliable. And I got to the point where my car maintenance wise needed more than I felt like it was worth to put into it because it just wasn't working for our family anymore. And in my opinion, the best time to buy a car is towards the end of the year, end of month, on a rainy day, right? And so I started looking into different cars and what would work for our family, and um, had my heart set on a Hyundai Palisade. And those are fairly new. They came out in 2020. And so I started searching around and trying to find the best deal. And I just ran into a lot of pitfalls and things that I haven't in the past. I've bought several used cars. It's just my preference is to buy a slightly used car that'll last me a long time and drive it until it just doesn't work for us anymore. And so I just wanted to share because I have no doubt that there are other mamas out there like me that are finding the need for a new car, and 2020 is a rough year to buy a used car. And so I wanted to share some of the things pitfalls that I ran into, because like I said, I ended up walking out of 5 dealerships before finding an honest one and one that was not going to play any games with me. And so I'm not going to name any of the dealerships in specific just to keep things above board, but I will tell you the reasons that I walked out of them and the pitfalls so that hopefully you can avoid them if you're in the same situation as me. And so I've made a few notes so that I remember the whole process. So first and foremost, it's really good to know if you have a trade-in vehicle, how much your trade is actually worth on the market, because I got a huge range. I got a four to $5,000 range, depending on who I talked to and what vehicle I was negotiating on. And so to me, it was like my car should have fair market value. Pretty much anywhere. Like, it's worth what it's worth no matter where you go, but that was not the case. And so I've got some tips at the end if you are just looking to sell your car or trade it in, of where I found the best deal on that. So and I'm going to turn on the chat so that I can see if you guys write any questions as well. So I'll jump right in the interest of not making this video too long. So I'm going to share what happened at each of the dealerships. So the first dealership I went to, when I got there, first of all, it showed online that they had 3 different used Palisades there. I got there, I called ahead of time to make sure that they were there. I got there and they were not there, and they said, oh, they've just sold. But we'll make you a really good deal on a new one. And I was like, this was the first, go around. So I was like, okay, well, it doesn't seem like they're that much different in price for a used one at this point or a new one, because like I said, that car just came out in 2020. And so anyway, they ended up giving me, like, he played it up like he was being very honest, gave me the sticker for MSRP on all of the different trim levels and things like that. But then they came back with a really low number for my trade-in, and then they had this fair market value adjustment line, and it was at first it was $8,000 that they are adding on to the MSRP of the vehicle. And he said right now vehicles are in short supply, so all dealerships are putting some kind of fair market value on it. And really, it's just the dealership putting a value on the fact that vehicles are in short supply right now. And so that didn't sit well with me. Long story short, I ended up leaving there because I didn't feel comfortable with them marking up. They After negotiations, they ended up coming down from the $8,000 that they had added on to the MSRP because they felt like it basically to 4,000. But even that, I was like, I'm not paying $4,000 over sticker just because you want me to. So I left there, went to another, continued my search, found another vehicle that was listed for a really good price. That was a slightly used vehicle that was about an hour away from me. I called and made an appointment with a sales lady. She emailed me and said, "Thank you so much for making your appointment. We will offer you a $250 gift card just for coming in and taking the test drive and giving us a shot." I'm like, okay, well, cool. That's worth the hour drive. And so I called that morning, the morning of my appointment, and said, I'm about to head your way. It's an hour away. The car's there, right? Like, it hasn't sold or anything. No, 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 come in. Well, I get there and they put me in the waiting room. And one, it was a different salesperson that I had communicated with and made an appointment with, which whatever. But he brought me to his desk and he said, "Okay, I'm going to go get the car for you to take a test drive." Took my ID and brought me outside, and he's like, "Okay, come with me." And he brings me outside and he says, "Well, the car that you are interested in is actually in the shop. Mind you, this is a certified used vehicle that they told me was available on the lot." And he's like, "Well, it needed some work and we're waiting for parts to come in. So we don't know when that one's going to be ready. But we have a brand new one over here if you would like to look at that one." And I'll be honest, I wasn't very happy at that point. I was like, "Look, I've driven an hour to see this specific car. When will it be ready?" And he said, "We don't know." And so he pushed me towards this new car that didn't have, the anything that I really wanted on it. And I said, "No, no, no, no. I'm not here for a new car. I'm here for a used car." And so then he says, can we just try to work the numbers on a new vehicle because they're not that far off?" And so I gave him one chance and I said, "This is the number that I want to walk out of here with." And he said, "Fine." We went back and forth 3 times and I was just about ready to leave. And they send the sales manager out and he's like, "Okay, we're going to come down to the exact number that he told you originally to. Can we make a deal today?" And at that point, I was like, "Well, I want to see all of the numbers and see what you're giving me for my trade in." And he's like, "No, this is the bottom line price that you'll walk out of here paying." And I was like, "Okay, well, where are the rest of the numbers?" And we couldn't get there. He was not willing to show me any of the numbers, not willing to be honest. And I said, "Okay, well, at this point, I've driven an hour one way, so 2 hours out of my day. And then I've spent an hour and a half here. So I would definitely like that $250 gift card to compensate my time." And he got up and he said, "Well, then we cannot make a deal. If and then I also called him out on the bait and switch of like, where is the car that I came in here to see originally?" And I said, "I know that game. And then you are trying to get me to buy a new car when I came in here to buy a used car." And he said, "Oh, well, bait and switch then." And I said, "Call it what you want, but I just want you to know that I don't appreciate that." And he said, "Well, then we can't make a deal." And he got up and like stormed away from the desk and came back. He sent the salesman back, and the salesman handed me a gift card that said, I wish I had it over here. I don't even know. I think I threw it away. It said $250 towards restaurants, and it gave like a website that you had to go to and a code. And it ended up being like this shady like discount. You get like $4 off your meal when you buy a meal at some restaurant, and you do that so many times and it adds up to $250. So that was even a scam. So don't recommend that place. Like I said, I won't call out the dealerships, but these are just the things that are going on right now. So then there was another dealership that I went to closer by, that ended up having a vehicle with like 2,500 miles on it. I was asking like, well, why would you trade in a vehicle with 2,500 miles on it? And they didn't know. And then when I got there, it was there and the vehicle was nice. And I had asked ahead of time, like, what would you give me for my trade-in? And they gave me a number and they said, but we don't know until you get here. Fair enough. Like, we don't know what condition it's actually in until you get here. And so then I got there and they went like $4,000 under what they had originally told me that they would get me for the vehicle. And then at that point, I had done my research and gotten quotes from a bunch of different places that were like, cash now, this is what your car is worth. And so I was like, okay, well, I know right now that I can go down the street and get this much for my car. Can we work the numbers? Like, we're not that far off. Can we work the numbers on your car? Well, no, they don't come down on the price of the car. They won't come up on the price that they promised me even over the phone for my car. And so just know right now, none of the dealerships came down on the price that they had listed the car for. But the thing that really got me at this particular dealership, the one with the $2,500 or 2,500 miles on the vehicle, was that he told me that the list price of the car that morning had been $3,000 more than what he was showing me, which was not the case. And I showed him the screenshot that I had taken that morning of the listing. And I said, no, you haven't come down on the price. This is what it was this morning. And he's like, no, I don't know where you got that from. We listed it higher this morning. And it was like, on what platform? And so just trying to kind of pull one over on me again. And I just cannot deal with someone that is going to flat out lie to me and then try to have a relationship, because then I'm going to, be expected to bring my car back in there if there's anything wrong with it or whatever. So I just can't deal with someone that's going to bold-faced lie, right? So then I walked out of that place and found another deal on another Palisade that was newer. And again, they wouldn't budge on the price that they listed for the car. And again, they wanted to lowball, how much they would give me for my trade and all of that. Same kind of deal, but bonus, they added on this mandatory package that they put on all of their used cars that is a standard $1,200 for basically glass etching that they say is like added security because there's like numbers on the glass. If someone really wants a car, they can break the glass, right? Like, I don't feel like it's more secure because it has some kind of etching on the car. And then they said they put like a clear coat so that my nails didn't scratch the car when I was getting in and stuff like. But it was just like a bunch of BS stuff, it seemed like, for $1,200 that they were adding onto the car, and then they wouldn't budge on the price. And so all of that said, like, so the things to look out for are, one, just know that whatever it's listed for, they're probably not going to move on. Your best negotiation tool, at least in my experience, is the price of the trade-in car that you are looking for, and just do your research, know what your car is actually worth on the market. And to look out for that fair market value adjustment that could be whatever the dealership wants to add to the car. look out for, make sure that if you're going in to see a used vehicle, call ahead and maybe actually even ask for a picture of the vehicle, like with, I don't know, a date or something to show that the vehicle is actually on the lot. And then just make sure that, you ask ahead of time, are there any like additional dealer add-ons, those kind of things where they like put a clear coat on the car or whatever that add to the price of the car, so that you can know before you get there, so that you don't have to be surprised. So thanks for for watching towards the end. Also wanted to share the best place that I found to get a quote to know how much my trade is actually worth. I actually went into AutoNation, and they ended up giving me the best um, price for my car. I tried Carvana online, and that was really, really low compared to everything else. And what I ended up getting, I did end up getting a new to me car that I'm very happy with, and I will share that. I told them that I would share. It was Bayway in Pasadena, Texas. That's actually an hour away from me, but they were awesome. They were upfront. I asked them if what the best, offer on my trade-in. I sent them the VIN and some pictures of my trade-in, and they gave me a number for my car that I was happy with. And then they ended up sending me all of the numbers on the used car that I was looking at. And they even sent me pictures of every little thing that was wrong with it, to let me know before I even got there, that there were a few little minor cosmetic defects. And then they totally fixed them for free before I got them. It took a week to get everything fixed, which, whatever, like supply constraints right now. But they updated me every day on the status of the car. We ended up buying it on Halloween, which was a Monday, and I didn't want to skip out on obviously trick or treating with my kids, so even um, they ended up even sending everything via DocuSign, and just making sure that I was well taken care of, didn't have to miss time with my family to buy a car, and updated me every single day. Actually ended up even coming up on the price that they originally gave me, that I was happy with for my trade, so that it would make the numbers make sense. So they were just fabulous. Sandra over there. So if you are looking for a new car, check them out. And then, like I said, AutoNation, I tried CarMax, AutoNation, Carvana, and I think it Texas Direct Auto for pricing on my car. And AutoNation ended up coming out with about what was really fair for my car. So that is an option as well if you're just ready to get rid of your car and you don't need another one like right away. They will buy your car from you on the spot. So I see a couple of people. Oh, a friend of mine, yeah, Hespit, I see you. I'll have to read all of your statement, but the numbers are never the same. Listed and put all the ads. Yeah, I know they do add on like tax, title, and license and all of the things, but there was that one dealership that I ended up actually buying from, that the numbers were what they said they were. They didn't do any weird add-ons and anything like that. So anyway, I hope that this experience has helped. I have asked that the dealership that I ended up buying from, I'm going to send them the link to this video. So if you have any questions on specifics, that they would help me reply and answer your questions on buying used cars and getting the best deal. So I hope this has been helpful, and post your questions, and thanks for your time. See you guys in the next video.